Where are we, Chris? Home of the Conjunto Museum.
Conjunto Museum.
Where are we at?
Home of the Conjunto Museum.
San Benito?
San Benito, Texas. Conjunto Hall of Fame. Do you know what a conjunto is?
I don't even know what a conjunto is. What is a conjunto?
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
We have to buzz.
Do we have to buzz? Is it open? Right?
It's a giant cheese wedge.
A gigantic cheese wedge. Museum, wow.
That's pretty.
It's like an Adobe type building, right?
That's pretty.
That's pretty.
There's cactus at the very top.
Cactus and stuff at the very top.
And nobody has to go.
I don't think we're...
They're open, no?
Yeah, I think they're in the backyard.
You have change?
I think so.
That donation box.
Quedaré flotando en este mundo porque tú me vas a abandonar. Llevaré conmigo tu recuerdo, pues te amé y no te de olvidar. Ya me voy de ti con sentimiento y desde hoy no haré más que llorar. Para ti habrá nuevos amores, para mí un eterno penar. Te amaré aunque lejos me vaya, aunque tú ya no seas para mí. Ahogaré con...
And so when Mr. Paco Betancourt's family were ready to sell the building, they knew my dad was trying to preserve the Conjunto music. And since the majority of the Conjunto artists, pioneers all came through San Benito to come do their first initial recordings, they offered my dad everything. So my dad got all the equipment, and so we just kind of recreated the space. My dad had a smaller museum on this side of San Benito, like 650 square feet. So he couldn't really showcase everything. He only showcased a few pieces and items. But in 2023 of February, which we're about to hit the 1 year mark here in this space, we have about 2,000 plus square feet, and now we're able to showcase my dad's collection. This is all his collection.
Wow. So your dad collected this stuff like over the course?
Over the 30 years, my dad had a bunch of collecting. And he did showcase some at his museum, but it was just like a small space that he couldn't do everything. So a lot of the stuff was at my mom's house, at friends' house, and storages. The city had the 2 pressers in storage, but the pressers are outside because there's this big ton.
And when you say pressers, what are those?
Oh, so what they used to, so what happened, they would record the music on the reels, and then what happens is they would send the reels to California, and then they would come back as acetates. So these are like considered your masters. So then they would put these masters on the pressers, and we had like the vinyl. It looked like a raw vinyl before it becomes a record, and they would start pressing away, and it was all hydraulics. It wasn't the electronic. And so cool. And they pressed all the odd records. So
they would make the Conjunto like records here.
Yeah, like this song here was pressed right here in San Benito. And not just Indian music, it was also other labels that came through San Benito just to produce their music. They would send us the acetates, but they would just press them. So we have all these other labels as well. But this is one of the Indian. So these are all your Conjunto artists that came through San Benito to record. And also, this is like Bobby Villa, they were doing orchestra music. Lady Mendoza was doing ranchera music. There's going to be a documentary on her alone pretty soon, coming soon.
On who? Lily Mendoza? Who?
Yeah, you can read a bunch of stories on Lady Mendoza. She was one of the first ranchera music. She recorded here in India as well.
Wow, and is she still alive? Or?
She passed away in Houston, probably in the early 2000s. Oh, wow. Okay, that was a really good story. And I pray there's going to be a documentary coming out on her. They're working on one right now.
Working one?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they also acquired a music store called the Real Grand Music that Mr. Paco Betancourt used to run. So what they would do, they would produce their music, and then they would sell their music and other labels as well. So this is kind of like all this music here is all originally from the store, and the cash register and all the, some of the bags, stuff on the wall. The only thing that we recreated was here, is because when we have the students come in doing tours, we give them a kind of like how music has evolved from the 78 Victor to the 33s, 8-track cassettes, and now of course we're all online. So it's just a story to show the kids. But all the furniture here is pretty much originally from the store.
Originally, and where was the store located?
The store was right next door to the recording studio. So like I said, we go to Savio, you go to that Victoria sewing box. That was the storefront, was the music store, and the back was where they had the pressing machines, and the pressing was going on. Yeah. And then the building itself here, the art building, like I said, we just acquired it back in February 2023. It was built in 1927, 1928 by Mr. Hinckley, was the architect, and it was originally a hotel, and it was a hotel restaurant downstairs, and hotel room second floor and third floor. Up in the third floor, there's a dance hall, and people would go dancing back in the 1930s. We call this the birthplace of Conjunto music because Narcisco Matinez, pretty much all his roots were here in San Benito, in a little area called La Paloma. And Santiago Amida was more from the Skid Row area, Skid Row, Texas. It was their sound, like blending their sounds of the accordion and the bajo secto in 1934, 1935 that made the new music of Conjunto music. It was all instrumental music until 1946 when Tony Dawas comes in and he starts to put lyrics to music.
So these are like the fathers of Conjunto music.
Yeah, they both got the, they got the highest award here in the United States, the National Heritage Arts.
Now, excuses for our ignorance. Okay. Now, like we grew up with Tejano music.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Conjunto music, is that something?
So what happened was Conjunto music is kind of like the foundation of Tejano and Norteño music. Yeah, I mean, we all are here. The Conjunto was, basically, it was just your accordion, your bajo secto. 1946, the drums come in, the bass comes in, the electric bass comes in eventually as well. Those are pretty much your only instruments. The taporoche was one also, that was way back in the days. But then eventually, like you said, Tejano comes in, they have the synthesizers in there, and the music started to change. But it all originally started here at one point. We were the foundation, and everything just kind of flourished. And then, even that Grupo Frontera music, it's all like it all originated right at one point. It started the basis for Conjunto music.
And so Conjunto music, that's like a valley style.
It's a
music,
yeah.
right?
It was actually founded right here in the valley, South Texas. And it's like, it is very, well, what happened was the accordion, Narcisco Matinez, he was a migrant, and he would go up to the north side of Texas, and, he would run into, like, the Europeans who had the accordion already. He purchases his accordion, and he just plays it differently, where he doesn't use the left side where the buttons are at. The bass, Santiago takes over the bass with his guitar, and then, so it gives him more freedom to do what he wants with the music. So it just changes up. It's kind of like they do polkas, they do German polkas kind of sound, but their sound is just a different kind of beat, like a different fusion of music. But they used to call him El Huracán de Valle because he was so fast. And they said Santiago was probably the only one that could catch up to keep up with him because he was so fast. But yeah, he's the founding father. I mean, it's just like saying, like, that's like your, what do you call it? What's that guy say? The father of the blues, This is your father going to music.
Oh wow!
It doesn't say,
yeah, and they like it kind of has a polka beat to it, right?
Yeah, it's like a German because the instrument, the accordion was for like a German instrument, whereas polkas and the what's the other one? There's another one they call like. The polka waltz, and that's kind of like the music. It was very instrumental, but it was a different kind of beat, a different sound, a little bit more upbeat, like. And then that's what I'm telling you. In 1946, they start bringing lyrics, and they're all Spanish lyrics. Could have been English lyrics, but they used Spanish. It was Spanish lyrics. Wow.
But that makes sense. Like our grandparents would say, "I me gusta la polka esa."
Yeah.
Like la polka.
And we're not German, but they heard it through the radio. It's the
la polka. Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just like like I said, it's a different fusion of music that these two created, and it's a Texas-based music, and it's a American genre. A lot of people think, oh, it's Spanish music, it's from Mexico. No, it started right here in South Texas, in San Benito, birthplace of music. So this is the production room where we have a lot of the well, these we just acquired these. We get a lot of donations. We're a non-profit organization, so we acquired a lot of the donations. These two jukeboxes were just donated to us last weekend, and in the music is actually the records and music. So they gifted it to us. So we're after these for months. We finally got them. And so anyway, this is some of the production equipment. You know, when the records come out and they need it to be round, they would press this thing. There's a little, you can see the little blade here to make it circle. They got they got the conveyor belt, and they would weigh the albums and ship them off all over the United States and parts of Mexico. We also document stories. Part of our mission. So Mr. Aguirre, he was a presser back when he was 18 years old. So we went to his house in McAllen, and we were able to find out, you know, how they, you know, the system of pressing a record, you know. And that's what Mr. Aguirre would use to press. They would put those, remember I talked about those silver acetates? They would put them on these rams here, and they would secure them, put them down, and then they would just press away.
So how old are these roughly?
I'll tell you, 1969 was the last time they produced them. They were pressing music in 1950s. Yeah. Wow. That's why they're outside and they're so heavy. But those were stored for 20 years at the city, the city storage room. My dad couldn't even show those off, and that was one of the things he wanted to show off. So when we got this building, I was able to bring them back. When I asked Mr. Aguirre, he came to visit us, I asked him, why do we have Nuevo and Chico? And because we produced other labels as well. So Duncan label was the label that Freddie Fender did, Wasted Days and Wasted Nights.
Wow, so they also did like rock and roll music and
they did everything. I'm telling you, it was just a conjunto music, but it was also a lot of like orchestral music and ranchero music and
wow.
Yeah, it's like some of the labels.
So they were way.
My father Joe was more like
So they were way ahead.
Oh yeah. See, so rock and roll, Eddie Los Shades. Mm-hmm. That is one of Freddie Fender's studio names. So Freddie Fender was Valdemar Huerta. That's his first name, right? That's why he was born. He was born right across the sock on that side. Well, Freddie Fender in 1950s, he got in trouble, right? He got in trouble with the law, and he had to go serve some time. So when he came back out, he actually recorded an album in the prison. And when he came back out, Idiota wanted to press for him, but they just didn't want the Freddie Fender name because it was kind of tarnished at that time. So he was using other studio names like Eddie Los Shades. So that's why it says rock and roll Eddie Los Shades. That's actually Freddie Fender's song.
That is neat.
And he was also went under Scotty Wayne, was another one that he would go under also. Scotty Wayne and Eddie Los Shades. Wow. Yeah, so you have Eddie Los Shades album record, and you see one? It's Freddie Fender.
Wow.
Yeah. You can't go back. So these are all your pioneers right here. Roberto Perez, he's from the Mercedes area. Tony De Rosa, he was from the Kingsville area. Valero was born in Mississippi but lived in the San Antonio area. Ruben Vela was from Santa Rosa. Miguel Nalivaz still alive with us. He's in San Antonio. So this CD here is called Tacochito Nights. What happened was we used to have a festival here called Narcisco Matinez Festival. David Chappell was very instrumental to bringing the Washington Smithsonian's Institute over here, and they recorded a whole weekend worth of our regional music, and they put it into an album called Tacochito Nights.
And some of the instruments here
these all belong to them. So, you know, part of my dad's thing was, you know, was to collect the history of the story of the inductee and also whatever pieces we could get. Mm-hmm. So these are like Ruben Vela. This is his suit. That's his accordion. Those are some awards also back here. His family keeps donating to us, so we have more awards here.
Awesome.
His wife, she just has that mentality, like, you know, it's at home, nobody appreciates it. We bring it here, and there's a picture of my dad with Ruben Vela. So Ruben Vela was 69 years old when he did his song Coco Royale, which is one of the songs that I tell when people come over, like we get the media come over. I always tell them, like, that's one of those songs I see you hear at the weddings and quinceañeras. You get up and dance, you know. Yeah. It's a very nice, fun song. So yeah, these are all the instruments that belong to this is Mario Montes' accordion. This is Remino's bajo. These all are from the San Antonio area. So, Santiago Jimenez Sr. was also singing conjunto music, but in San Antonio in 1935. We were singing it in 1934, so that's why, you know, there was always this contest, like, well, where's conjunto music? Is it San Antonio, or does it belong to San Benito? But Flaco Jimenez, the son of Santiago, said, no, my dad was, in 1935, he started to perform, and Narcisco Matinez was 1934, so it's San Benito. But Flaco's still alive, and so is Santiago. And
it's my dad's favorite.
Yeah, we go watch him a lot. Whenever in San Antonio, when they have festivals in May, we try to go see him.
Flaco Jimenez.
He's up in age already, but that man can still jam.
Mm-hmm.
Who's this guy with the eye patch? I think I remember.
Steve Rodon actually comes on in movies. Born East LA with Cheech and Chong.
Yes,
he came out, and he was very. This guy, I mean, my dad, the way my dad would describe him to, he said, "Hey, you gotta come watch this man perform. He's the Jimi Hendrix of the accordion." That's what my dad described him. And man, he was like, literally, you think that when he was done, the accordion was on fire. That man was all over the stage, and he was just like, his hands were just like magic on that accordion moving. So yeah, Stephen Rodon is, he lived in, I think he was born in Elsa, Texas, but he majority of his lifetime was in San Antonio. But yeah, he came out in movies, born in East LA, and I've seen him, I saw him, if you could just YouTube him, and I saw him come out with Dwight Yoakam also.
Oh wow!
Now this is something you don't see a lot of.
Yeah.
Like,
so you have a female, and she's the pioneer woman of Conjunto. Ef'n was like 7, 8 years old. We came to when we were going to make the announcement that we're moving here. We had a show called Conjunto in my backyard. You know, we befriended her, and she's actually on that mural that we have outside the back, outside the front. So when we opened up the museum, we called her up and told her, hey, we need one of your stage suits. Yeah, so this is a Hall of Fame room, and also we have a stage here. This replicates, this house is a replica of Narcisco Matinez's house in La Paloma. My brother and I were invited to go visit the family, and so when we went, you know, we got some pictures, and so my brothers decided to do the stage. They wanted to do a replica of his house because when Narciso had some downtime, he used to live in Glassboro Zoo in his elder years. When he had some downtime, musicians would come and they'd be on the porch and they'd perform. And so we call it Narciso Porch. And we have once a month we do live performances, and it gets recorded and it's actually documented and on YouTube. It's called Estilo de Valle. And we just had a show here. That's why we have all these chairs here. We just had a show. The last weekend it was Keep Your Daddy Legacy. Came to talk about their family. So Keep Your Daddy Legacy is Country Rollins family.
Oh,
wow. This is really neat.
This is pretty cool. So yeah, that stage, people, if they perform, they just get on stage and they're performing. And this is the room of we give all the media, people that were the radio, TV hosts, people that ran dance halls. Mr. Sanchez had a dance hall. The first Conjunto dance hall here in San Benito. It's still now it's run by the Diaz family. It's still running.
Because most of these Conjunto guys, they had to do the dance hall stuff before they became big,
these are the dance halls right here. These are all like the media. So a lot of times the media, like for instance, the Davila family in San Antonio, Mr. Manuel Gonzalez would pay out of his own pocket for 1 hour of radio time to play Conjunto music, and then after a while, the people started calling the company, the station, saying, "Hey, we want more Conjunto music," you know, because it was all English, you know, at the time. And so after a while, the radio just gave in. Says, "Go ahead, have your own show." So eventually he bought the station eventually, and Martin Rosales was one of the first KGBT radio DJs as well. Same story here in the Valley, you know. He started doing some radio DJing in Spanish, and people started calling the company like, "Hey, we want more of that." And so next thing you know, it became a show.
So these were like the marketers for Conjunto music.
These were the very first of the legends of radio and TV. Johnny Canales, he's still around. He's still on YouTube. You'll find him on YouTube.
It's crazy because like when we grew up, it was church, followed by Johnny Canales.
There you go. That's the story. That's the story. Everybody says, like, you know, we all went to church, and there's a video. You can see some videos here that we have. And then ladies will say, we went to church and we turned on TV and there was Johnny Canales or my dad Domingo Peña from Corpus Christi, and we're listening to that. Y barbacoa.
I just see these guys. I smell the barbacoa and coffee already.
With the pan dulce ready to go.
Exactly. And this is a Freddie Fender room that we just opened this one up because we just inducted him, and these are some of the pieces from his Freddie Fender collection, which means they belong to the family. And we also have some pieces that might belong to my dad, and that suit is part of the Freddie Fender collection. And then we also have on the weekends we'll turn on the radio TV and there's shows of Freddie Fender. That was donated to us just a few weeks, about a month ago or 2 months ago. They did that in pencil. Freddie Fender. So.
Has Freddie Fender been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yet, or?
Right now, there's talks right now, and there's a big petitions going on right now to get him inducted into the National Country Music Hall of Fame.
Oh, country.
I know the Texas Country Hall of Fame is working on trying to get him inducted already. We already inducted him because he was a pioneer working in the Dial, and he did do some Conjunto sound, and then eventually he went back to his roots at the very end. He didn't get to promote that album because he got sick with lung cancer and stuff.
So what I learned about Freddie Fender right now is that he basically working in the music store.
Yeah,
he was able to meet all these legends of Conjunto music.
He was working there. I'm telling you, he started off as a man, just sweeping and mopping, and eventually he became a sound engineer, and then eventually he actually recorded his own music there at Ideal. I think this piece right here, that's one of them. That's one of them that he recorded here at Ideal Records. It's called Freddie Fender, about my work, and then he did the beginning. He called himself the Bebop Kid. That's another one. When that black and white picture there. The Bebop Kid he would get English music, like something that Elvis Presley was singing, and he would translate it into Spanish. And so it would become Spanish rock.
Yeah, crossing over.
It was when he did the Teardrop Falls in 1977.
Yes.
When the country music according to his wife, it's like country music pretty much claimed him after that. Yeah. But Freddie Fender was very versatile. You can hear country, you can hear Tejano, you can hear Conjunto, you can hear Cajun. I mean, he was just very versatile. Whatever was in his heart, he would perform.